Hello, my beautiful sisters. Welcome to another episode at Minding Her Business podcast. I'm your show host and coach, Jaslyn Martin, and I empower women to read, feed their souls, and succeed in business. And welcome to another episode of Minding Her Business podcast. I am here today to talk about nurturing your tribe. Now, nurturing your tribe is not cookie cutter, but there are simple ways that a lot of people use, and it's up to you on how you really want to move forward with it. Now, there are ways such as, for example, Facebook Lives and Facebook groups that there are some ways to kind of like add on to it or optimize it, but it doesn't mean that it's cookie cutter. Now, as I mentioned in an earlier podcast when I was talking about why a tribe and how to grow your tribe, there's 3 ways also to nurture your tribe. 3 ways to grow your tribe, 3 ways to nurture your tribe, and 3 focused areas to sell to your tribe. So the 3 ways to nurture your tribe are, drumroll please, first one is your story. So something that I have a lot of my first clients that have not started a business yet and are just getting started. What I have them do is get vulnerable. I get them to share their story out there into the world and to also share a future that they wish to build from their story. So it could be something such as, in my case, I have shared things such as having an irregular period and what that was like for me when I was very young, thinking that I got my period every 2 or 3 months, not knowing if that was normal or not, going to the doctor and them telling me that my only thing that I could do to solve this is get on birth control. So I got on birth control for 7 years. 7 years, people. I was 14 years old. And finally, when I started to learn more about my body and I figured out that birth controls is not normal, it was just pausing the issue versus solving it, versus moving forward and taking care of it and seeing what my body needed. I was just pausing the issue, prolonging it. And if you're not growing something, you're dying. There is no real pausing your body, which means my body was dying. And I ended up learning, I don't go to the doctor often, but I'm pretty certain that I had some kind of thyroid issue at some point because I had some crazy symptoms. I would get acne all over the place. At some point, like this is super personal here, and this is me getting super vulnerable. At some point, I was pissing blood. And normally that means some type of like kidney bladder, or kidney stone issue or something like that. And that can happen from birth control and not taking care of your body. When you're not taking care of your menstrual cycle and you don't know what's happening with your body, your hormones start to try to figure out how else to solve whatever issue is happening in your body, how else to balance out your hormones and your other organs, your adrenal glands, your liver, your kidney. All of these things that have their own job to do are now doing double or triple the work. So that is my story. And now I have a regular period. I got off birth control. And normally after you get off birth control, you end up getting on like super hormonal issues and it's going to be a crazy ride for the next year. That's what I've heard many times from many people. And I did it right, so it seems. I did a lot of homework on how to get off it in a healthy way. And I ended up getting off my birth control pills and having a regular period fully synced with the new moon, which, if you don't know, is like the best thing ever. It means not only are you aligned to yourself, but you're also aligned to the universe. So I was kind of on point, right? So I like to share that story so that people know that, yes, I love to talk about starting your business, but I also love to talk about the importance of cyclical living, the importance of knowing your body, of loving yourself, of loving your period, your menstrual cycle, loving yourself, period. And that also gets people to realize, Normally I tell that story and people be like, oh snap, I have a similar story. I'm on birth control still. How do I get off it in a healthy way? Why did you get off it? So sharing your story, especially something that you've overcome, allows your ideal clients to relate to you. It allows them to be like, oh, maybe that's something I should do. Maybe that's something I should be focusing on. Oh my God, I'd love to have a story like that. I would love to have a regular period. I would love to have a 6-figure business. I would love to work from home. I would love to find the love of my life, right? So whatever your story is, make sure to share it. Make sure to get vulnerable and tell those stories that you normally wouldn't. And I know it's a little scary. It's really scary for a lot of people. And I remember it was really scary for me in the beginning. Now, I may have my moments when I know I haven't shared a story in a while, or I haven't really shared it in this specific way. But at the end of the day, when you think about all the people, all the beautiful women or men, depending on who your ideal client is, that you are saving their lives, you're changing their lives when you tell your story. You make them realize that they are not alone, that this isn't just a part of their story, that other people have a story that is similar. So it really opens up for you. It lets you forgive. It lets you forget. It lets you move on. It lets you realize your power and what you have now. And it also lets you to show your members that it's possible for them too. So please, 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 please share your story. And if you haven't, I love Brené Brown and I highly recommend her books for getting vulnerable and being authentic and all that jazz. And she has a Netflix episode that I forgot the name of it right now, but it's something like Get Courageous or Get Vulnerable or something like that. Highly recommend it. Just look up Brené Brown. All her books are fantastic for this subject. Now, the second way to nurture your tribe is, drumroll again, connection. Connecting to you as the leader, getting your members to connect to you and to other members. To have a tribe, not everyone can just be like completely in love with the leader. That's great and all, but to have a tribe is to have a relationship. And something that I mentioned in the very beginning, my definition of tribe, is a group of like-minded people connected to an idea, a leader, and one another. Because when you have a tribe that's connected to one another, suddenly it's going to grow exponentially. People are going to be engaging in there. People are going to start seeing the kind of people that you're energetically aligned to. And they're going to connect to you at the end of the day. So find ways to connect to other people, whether it's engaging in posts or messaging them separately, or even getting them to message each other, right? Let's say you know someone that may be a good fit and maybe you want to collaborate in a project with somebody else, or you want someone to hear someone else's story, right? So I'm working on something at the moment. I'm mixing up your story with the connection part. This is a new project. Don't know how it's going to go yet, but I'd love to share it. I'm doing a subscription box, and it's fantastic, little book subscription, and it comes with something called a VIP membership, where it's going to be like tons of videos online that I know are going to help my girls, right? And my ladies. So one thing I'm going to add to it is something called Her Story, because when you think about it, history is spelled H-I-S, his story. And I want to hear about her stories, the history of women surrounding us, so her story. And I'm going to have people connect to each other by being vulnerable with each other. So it's something I'm going to try new. I think it's going to work out fantastic. And I'm getting specific people to start the project and share their story, people that I know that have gone through some crazy stuff. And I also know that other people have gone through it and may have trouble speaking about it. So I'll be doing that. And then is also the third way to nurture a tribe, which is activities, right? You want to get some kind of activity that can get your members to participate, and it's something that moves them toward an idea or a future. So remember, whether you're a coach or whatever kind of business you have, your whole idea is moving them from where they are to where they want to be, whether it's a specific type of future or a specific type of idea, such as having a business or being happy or whatever it is. So you're moving them towards something. So that activity that you create for them should move them towards that. Now, it could be, I have a book club because it's my thing. And each personal development book, what's the focus? The focus is getting you to be a better person, loving yourself, growing your business. There's so many things that are part of having a book club, right? Another activity could be a webinar where you talk to your people. It could be classes, workshops, seminars, maybe even mentorship programs within the group. Maybe you end up doing like a 5-day challenge or a group coaching program, whatever it is that you want to do that allows people to communicate to each other. So I've done Zoom calls before where I have everybody show up, or as many people that can show up, and they just talk to each other and share their story. And it's kind of like having a women's circle, but online, where they get to speak and just be themselves and release whatever's going on within them. So something like that. So those are the main points of nurturing your tribe. I have passed the 10-minute limit, but it's okay because I know you girls love me. And I really wanted to focus on doing 10 minutes just to get you to realize it's all about solving their problem, right? Knowing their problem, and you just keep solving it over and over again in different ways, right? And that's the whole point of nurturing your tribe. So nurture your tribe like they're cute little babies that you want to feed and adore and give them everything that you can. Now, please remember that while nurturing your tribe, something that's super huge is that you don't give them everything that's in your cup. So imagine your cup and you have all this water inside this cup, right? Now, people, when you start passing around this cup and giving out your energy, they're drinking from this cup. You have to make sure that you keep enough for you to drink from your cup as well, okay? And I'd actually recommend having a little bit, kind of double the water that you'd give out to other people, just because as women in general, we forget to save for us. And it's important that you may not know that you may need a little bit more nurturing. You're giving so much. You've got to save some for yourself, okay? So make sure, nurture all day long if you want, but just make sure that you give enough or save enough for yourself, all right? I love you girls. And the next podcast episode will be all about selling and serving your tribe. So talk to you soon.